All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final week of the Profitable Quiz Funnel Design for Weeks workshop. Like I mentioned earlier, my name is Elvis. I am the implementation specialist at LeadQuizzes. And with me here on the call is Donobari Visor, the co-founder. And we are really excited to have you guys here on the call with us. Now, today, we're going to be looking at quiz funnel optimization. Where we're going to be showing you how to identify where drop-offs happen in your quiz, how you can split test your quiz and review the results. And finally, I'm going to be walking you through how you can set up an effective email autoresponder. Now, just like the previous weeks, I know for someone like Tim, this is the first time he's joining. But how we do this for the previous weeks is, between each of this agenda, I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to let you guys share with us your experiences, what you've done in the past, if you have any questions, and that way we make it more interactive so we learn from each other, okay? All right, let's get started. So first, we're going to be looking at how you can identify where drop-offs happen in your quiz. But before we delve into this, I would like us to first look at some of the reasons why drop-offs happen in your quiz in the first place. Now, the first reason is wrong quiz hook. Now, we already spoke about this before in the previous workshops, that the wrong quiz hook will attract the wrong type of person or people to your quiz. And you want to attract the right type of people to your quiz in the first place. So the wrong quiz hook is the first reason why drop-offs happen. So take some time to try to identify what the right quiz hook is for your quiz. And also you can split test different quiz hooks to see which one has the most conversions for your quiz. And we're going to delve into that a bit later. The second reason why drop-offs happen is the wrong offer. You have to sell the right type of offer at the back of your quiz funnel. So when someone takes your quiz, you want to give them the results for free. But at the same time, you want to make sure that the offer that you're presenting to the person that finished or completed your quiz is the right type of offer. You don't want to have a quiz saying what type of car is right for you. And at the end of the quiz, you'll have an offer for a house or something weird like that. So make sure the offer you're giving corresponds with what your quiz is talking about. So the wrong offer. The third one is confusing questions. The questions in your quiz funnel need to create demand and desire for the product you're trying to sell. So it's like taking people down a sales path. And the questions needs to be strategic. You don't want to have questions that will confuse your audience or try to trick them. So make sure that the questions are clear and they are able to understand it and they're strategic and it's taking them down the path of the quiz funnel. Then finally is the wrong process. Most people think that you start writing your quiz, you get the quiz hook, you get the questions, then you get the results. But ideally, you start with the results. So you start from the back, you get the results. Once you have the results dialed in, that will be easier for you to figure out what questions you want to ask for your quiz. And by the time you're having the questions ready, you'll see that you have your quiz hook in place. All right, so go through the right process when creating your quiz. All right. Now, next, we're going to look at a couple of places where drop-offs happen in your quiz. And for this one, I would like to take you to the LeadQuizzes platform. So just to give you a live demo, so you get to see. Now, the average quiz conversion rate is 33.6%, which means that for every 10 people, a little more than 3 people are meant to fill in the quiz form. All right, which is great because if you look at traditional newsletters, you have 2 to 3, maximum 4% conversion at most times. So the goal is to get this conversion on your quiz high and as high as possible. And the only way you can do that is if you know how people are interacting with your quiz. And that way you can make informed decisions. So LeadQuizzes, we have the insights reporting that gives you a clear picture of exactly how your leads are interacting with your quiz. And that way you can know, what to test and where to test. So we're going to start with the first one, drop off to the quiz start page. So for example, you can see we have more than 500,000 people, more than 700,000 people that viewed this quiz cover page. But if you look at question number 1, you have 4,745 people that viewed question number 1. So between the start and then clicking take quiz to view question number 1, you have a massive drop-off. All right. Now, this high drop-off number can happen for a couple of reasons. All right. So if you have your quiz embedded on your website, for example, on the home page, everyone that lands on that home page will be calculated as a view, irrespective of if they going to click on take quiz to see the quiz itself. If you also have your quiz as a website pop-up, once it pops up, it's being calculated as a view irrespective. So, it's possible to have a very high number of views if you have a quiz embedded or you have the website pop-up, compared to those that actually click on the start take quiz. But, looking at this, you can take a cue, okay, let me let me work on the quiz hook to try and get more click-throughs, or create a different description for the quiz start page button, or have a different image in the start page, or remove the start page entirely. So you can test out different scenarios to see if you're going to get more people taking question number 1. All right. So based on this, you can see, okay, we had this number that viewed, or we have this number. So we can try to see how we can get more clicks throughs to the quiz by a different quiz hook, a different image, a different description, a different button label. All right, now next we're going to look at drop-off to the questions. Now, if you take a look at question number 1, you can see we had 4,745 people that viewed question number 1. But going down to question number 2, we have 3,069 people. So between question number 1 and 2, we lost about 1,600 plus people. So this is a good example to take a look at this question, and you can be like, okay, what exactly is wrong with this question? Why do we have so much drop-offs? Now you can decide to move this question to a different position. So rather than it being question number 1, maybe it's a hard question. What best describes you? Maybe you want to put that at question number 3 or 4, or you can decide to delete this question entirely, or you can change the copy of the question. So going through this, you can see, okay, between this and this, I lost a lot of people. So something needs to be done to get more people to go down the path of the quiz. All right. Now the final one is drop-offs to the lead form. All right. So if you go down to your lead form, you can see you have 2,095 people that viewed this lead form, but you have only 962 submissions. So you lost about 50-something% on the lead form. Now there are a couple of reasons. Now remember I said 33.6% is the conversion rate for quizzes. So if you look at this conversion, you still have about 40-something%. But at the same time, you can decide to see how you can improve this. So in here, you can have maybe a different copy or a different description. So rather than enter your email below to receive your result, you can have, fill in your information below to receive your result, to get your results emailed to you. Something that's a bit more catchy. You can try that. If you have more fields in here, so let's say you had a phone number field in here, you can decide to delete that, because the more fields you have on your form, the less your conversions. So these are a couple of tests you can run to try and get more conversions on the form field. Okay. Before we jump into the next topic, I'm going to take a pause. All right. Let me see who we have on the call. So team, since we have just Tim and Amy, do you mind just sharing with us a bit of your experience with regards to how, I know you have a couple of quizzes running. So have you ever gone into the reporting to see exactly where drop-offs are happening? What has your experience been? Have you made some changes in the past, and what has the results been?
We actually only have one quiz running, and we have very little drop-off up until they get to, because we kept it short. I think it's 8 questions. Okay. They drop off usually at the end when we ask them for their email address to get their results, if they do it all, and it's probably about 50-50. We also have a very, what's the word? I don't know. We have the lead that we're looking for is very specific. So this kind of helps educate them in the process of what they might expect. So the people who do finish and give us an email address are usually pretty serious. But I don't know that our results are great to compare with. other people. We primarily advertise on or promote it on our website, and we do some social media shares. I find those tend to be more drop-offs than the people who've actually come to our site.
Great. And how many fields do you have for the form on your quiz? Is it just the first name and the email address, or do you have more fields? Okay.
Just those two.
Just those two. All right. And have you tried testing out, for example, like I mentioned, have you tried testing out the description for the form field, or testing out the actually the title of the form field? Have you tried testing it out to see if you get more click-throughs?
No, not yet. It's part of the reason I took the class, to find out what what else, because I think we want to try a couple different quizzes and see if we get different results. We've been reasonably happy with the amount of effort we've put into the results we're getting. So this was just a fun way to try to learn more.
If you have, like, let's say a PDF, or let's say a video or something that you offer to your leads, on the form field, rather than having fill this information to get your result, you can have fill this information to claim your free PDF. Something like that entices them to want to fill it to get the value from the results and what you have next in there.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
Is there something you want to share? No, I don't think Tim is with us.
I'm here. Yeah, sorry, it took me a second to unmute myself.
So I guess my question was, based on the quizzes you've run so far, so you can share with us, so we learn as well. Have you done any kind of testing on the quizzes? Have you gone through to see where drop-offs happen? Have you made some changes, and what were the results of those changes you made?
I don't really think the traffic to the quiz was enough to make changes and make assessments. And the client, I had several clients get them for 2-3 months, and then they were getting some leads. They weren't promoting it, and then they said, oh, I just want to cancel. So there just wasn't enough traffic to really make any assessments, so we didn't really change anything.
All right.
That'd be the way I would say it.
Dee, do you want to add anything before we move on?
What?
No, I'm saying Dee, do you want to add anything to this before we move
on? Yeah, I think what Tim said about, like, there needs to be traffic there so you can actually test and get adequate data is on point. Running a test without enough traffic is going to be very difficult. But the last thing I'll probably just add is when I set up quizzes, I always like to, especially on the form section where you submit your information, I always like to include things like, hey, we're not going to spam you because, at this point in time, within people are like, yeah, if I enter my email, they're just going to spam me. So set the expectation as to what the communication frequency is going to be. But I also pack in bonuses on top of it as well. Especially if I'm running a direct product quiz, for example, things that incentivize opt-in. So 50% off, get your results, and 50% off of, a merchandise, or get our free master class. So I always like to include other potential lead magnets in there to improve the conversion rate on the form.
Right, definitely. So Amy, like Dee said, it's very important. If you have those kind of offers, you can include it on the form, so that way they know the value they're gonna get by filling in the form. And also, if you could also include that disclaimer that you're not gonna spam them, that also helps. All right, any comments, Amy?
No, that's just great. I hadn't thought of that, setting that expectation. Excuse me. That's a really good reminder, because I appreciate that when I read it. So yeah, thank you for that.
Definitely. All right, so next, let's look at how to split test and review results for your quiz.
A question.
Yeah, go on, Tim.
I'm sorry, what was the exact language you're using for the sort of spam, no spam reminder? And where do you
Go ahead. All right,
and where
finish.
place it? And, or do you have an example? Like, do you put it under the button? I think we're limited on where we can put stuff. So
I put it right after the title of the form. So you have like the title section, and then you have the description. I put it in there to set expectations, get your results. We're not, and I usually, depending on the client that we're working with, I'll include, we're not gonna email like something along like, we won't spam you, just something simple, you know, just people don't want to be, a lot of people just don't want to be spam.
yeah,
But also what I like to do is I actually like to email the results to people versus giving it on the results page sometimes, because I also want valid emails and valid leads to improve my campaign's delivery.
Mhm.
So I'll put, you know, I'll connect the quiz to, let's say, like if we're working with a client that has active campaign, I'll connect the quiz to an active campaign and send the results via active campaign, so I can track, so I can get better tracking with, let's say if I have call to actions in my emails, I can track that better, and I can test my emails that get sent out. Because, you know, people tend to sometimes just put in like their dummy like email a lot of the times. And so that's a way to combat that. Incentivize, be like, hey, we'll email you the results. And then use the results page as a thank you page. Or just as another, or just another like a CTA to drive to your next offer.
Yeah.
So you don't show the results real time in the browser, you email them the results.
Yeah, a lot of the times I'll email them the results and instead use the results page to push them to like a, so for example, like a client that we're working with right now, I'll push them to into a masterclass. Like I'll give them like a sneak peek, and I'll be like, check your email for a full breakdown of your results. Just because for the client that I'm working with, it's very important for us to make sure that our email delivery on these leads are pretty good. So we avoid like the results page a lot of the time.
Right. So check your email for a full breakdown of your results, but then are you showing a sneak peek video and then click here if you want to watch more, or is it just, what are you showing there?
So sometimes we'll do a video, just like, hey, thank you for filling out the quiz. Check your email for full results breakdown. But we have something special to offer you, so I usually incentivize like a bonus. We have something special to offer you for taking this quiz. Click this button, which is a CTA to like an offer. It could be like a master class, or it could be, let's say, 50% off purchases, whatever it is, right? And click this email, click the CTA and get this offer, and also check your email for the results. Because we're also trying to drive conversion events on the results page.
So basically you're having a button to drive them to another landing page that's outside of ClickFunnels that will offer, either have a teaser video that could then have a, you know, button appear to sell something, or it could just be a flat out sales page. You get half off this thing if you get it now, a one-time offer.
Yeah, but you know, yeah, the button will be on the LeadQuizzes results page, and the video will be on the LeadQuizzes results page as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could
Yeah.
embed video. Is that new?
Yeah, just through YouTube.
Okay.
Mhm.
Tim, is that clear? Or do you have further questions?
No, that's clear. I haven't tried that. Usually I bet we showed the responses to their quiz in real time. And then try to use that, like, oh, it appears that, you know, your results are terrible. You really need help with this. So click here to schedule a meeting or something, you know, that sort of approach. Didn't work. So obviously that's not a good approach.
Yeah,
or
but
we
there's
didn't have enough traffic. You know, you can't make a decision on like 50
Exactly.
people to take a quiz. It's just not enough people.
And yeah, and the reason also why I like emailing results is because it also allows me to set the expectation with them that we are going to email them, you know, and instead of, hey, I took this quiz, now they started emailing me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people do you think need to take a quiz before you can really judge anything about it?
I think in order to just, what I usually recommend, a rule of thumb, is to at least have, you know, at least 2,000 people view the quiz to get like a good amount of data where you can actually test at least consistently to it. Like for, because it's really hard to test when it's just, you know, people are trickling in just like every day and you're making changes, but you're not really seeing the impact. And that's like, and if you want to like see dramatic results, sometimes if you're not able to get like, let's say 1,000 people to take the quiz, usually I'll just go for a totally different angle, you know, instead of make small changes, I'll just go for big changes that allow me to differentiate if this quiz is performing versus, you know, version B.
Are you usually using Facebook to drive traffic or multiple different places or?
So I use multiple different places to drive traffic. We found that website traffic performs the best because it's not usually, a lot of times website traffic is not cold traffic. You do get a lot of returning visitors to your site. Facebook performs really well if you have the targeting really dialed in. But the way I like to approach it with people that we work with is we'll start with website traffic to get the initial like data and see like, hey, is this quiz going to work before we spend, you know, money running Facebook ads to it.
What if they don't have enough traffic to their website to get enough data to tell if it'll work?
Then I recommend, if they don't have enough traffic to their website, then I recommend Facebook. And you have to just, with clients, you just have to set the expectation that, hey, in order for this to work, you have to have a budget, like a Facebook marketing budget in place. And a lot of people are going to be some people are not going to want to do it. And I don't think those are really good clients to work with, especially if they don't have anything set aside for actually getting traffic to the quiz.
Yeah, that's what I found.
Yeah.
I wasn't even charging that much. I was just trying to, you know, get a few monthly clients, do the website traffic, and then, okay, I knew later that it probably wouldn't result in much. And then it's like, oh, we'll do Facebook. But no, I didn't set that expectation to start, and most of them canceled. They're like, no, I don't have a budget for that.
Yeah. When we had our agency where we strictly ran quiz campaigns, we always included, even if we didn't start out with Facebook, we always included that budget for Facebook ads in it. So they understood that that's going to be part of the process.
Yeah, especially when you're not getting lots of traffic to their website, you know, it's always good to set the expectation. Yeah. All right.
All right,
do you
Elvis.
have any more questions? Can we move on? All right, I guess we can move on. All right. So as you start finding those different opportunities using the insights reporting, you know, using the insight reporting to determine the drop-offs from the views, the questions, and the lead form, the next step is you want to run a split test to be able to improve the performance. Now, how you can currently do this in LeadQuizzes is to duplicate your quiz. You know, let me just give me a second. So in here, we have the duplicate functionality, copy. Once you click on this, you copy this. Now, once you've done that, on the duplicate, you can make those changes. Now, advisably, you make one little change at a time. So you can be able to check, the impact it had. Once you've made the change on the duplicate, you can now drive traffic, to it for a period of time. In order to be able to check how significant those changes were, you can use, if you go to Google and you Google A/B significance calculator, I have one in here as an example. So let's say you ran the first quiz for a period of 1 week, and you had 200 visitors, and out of that you had 40 conversions. And on the duplicate quiz, you run it for also 1 week, but rather you had 150 visitors and you had 30 conversions. So this will tell you how significant that was. So you can see not significant. All right, so you can use this to check how significant the changes you made were based on the split test you ran. Now, let's look at a couple of variations that you can split test. So like I mentioned initially, you can split test having a start page versus not having a start page. So you can delete the start page entirely in the sense that they get to your website, they get to see the first question, all right? Or they get to your quiz, they get to the first question rather than the start page. Next is the number of questions you have in your quiz. You can test that. So you could, rather than having 11 questions, you can test having 17 questions, or you can reduce the number based on when you go through the insight reporting, what you noticed and looking at the drop-off rates, okay? Next, you can test the start page copy. So you can test the hook itself. So you can test the different hooks. So for example, this says, should I keep renting or buy my first home? You can change the hook to either to buy your first home, to get guidance. So you can test a different hook. You can test a different button label. So rather than saying start, you can have begin quiz. And you can also test a different description. So rather than saying get guidance from this short quiz, take this 1 minute quiz to find out. So you can test those different things on the start page based on, when you look at the drop-offs, if you notice you had a high number of people that's dropped off at the start page, you can run any of this tests to see if that improves the click-throughs. Next, you can test the image for your quiz, the background image or the cover page image for your quiz. You can test different images. You can test different button colors. And finally, you can also test the result copy itself. So you can test having just a text copy, or you can include an image in there. We've seen some clients do really slick design on the result page, so you can do that as well. So that's for copy. For the next test you can run is the colors. All right, so you can test if having a branded color, your business branded color, versus having the LeadQuizzes, one of the LeadQuizzes team colors. You can test that as well. You can also test the form field. So you can test not only the form copy, like we just discussed, but you can also test if having, less fields improve your conversion. Now, ideally, the more fields you have on your form, the less your conversions, So if you don't really need to have additional fields like phone number, city, and so on, first name, email address, ideally, is the best if you don't need the phone number, because the more fields in here, the less your conversions. All right. And finally, you can test the offer they are given. So you can test having a text offer or having an image offer. You can also test the different offers, So in here, click the button below to receive tips. But in here, click the button to save 500 off closing costs. So you can test different offers you have on the result page. Okay. Before we delve into the next topic, I would still like a couple of us to share. Maybe Amy, James, I say James is on the call. Welcome, James. Tim as well. On the current quizzes you have, do you have any kind of, shall I say, offers running? Have you tested this and so on? Let's start with Amy.
We had a drip campaign after the fact. So if they opted in and got their score, We have since, it just got old and we haven't refreshed it. So that one's kind of out of date for us.
Right, but do you have any offer you give offering to your leads in there on your result page? I mean,
We just offer, it's a free discovery call. It's not like a
free-
package of any type.
yeah, free discovery call. All right.
Yep.
What about you, James? All right. Tim?
I need to unmute myself. Yeah, what we do is we link LeadQuizzes with Zapier and get them on a we get them on a FitPro newsletter series of autoresponders. But the beautiful thing about LeadQuizzes is it's so easy to integrate with Zapier. Well, maybe that might be a bit too technical for the rest of the people on the call.
I guess my question, James, maybe you missed a couple of minutes, but we're looking at different tests that you can run on your quiz, to improve conversions.
Right.
And we ran through a couple of them, so you can test starting from the.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So my question is, have you run any tests in the past, any split tests in the past?
No.
What
No,
were the results? No. All right.
No.
Dee, do you want to add something to this?
I'll let you. I'll keep quiet. You carry on your good work.
All right. Next, we're going to look at how you can set up an effective email autoresponder. Now, according to InsideSale.com, if you follow up with leads within 5 minutes, you're 9 times more likely to convert them. So the question is, how do you follow up with leads that quickly? And the easiest way to do this is by using one of the integrations we have natively in LeadQuizzes, or if we do not have it, you can use Zapier to automatically connect your quiz to your email marketing software or to your autoresponder. And that way, once your leads finish the quiz and leave their information, the information is being passed to your email marketing software or your autoresponder, and an email is being triggered automatically. As you can see, we have a lot of them natively on LeadQuizzes. So if you're using Infusionsoft, Klaviyo, ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, and the rest of them, you can have a direct connection without Zapier. But if you're using Pipedrive or Salesforce, you can also use Zapier to push this leads information from LeadQuizzes to your autoresponder. Now, once you have this connected, as soon as someone takes your quiz, they fill in the form, you can immediately follow up with them. Now, this is really important because you want to get an email out as soon as the lead gets in, so you can start building that relationship with your leads. Now, what this means is that, you have to have an autoresponder email ready to go out, something that your leads will immediately get after they enter your list. Now, if you go to the LeadQuizzes community, academic community, Jeremy created a really awesome autoresponder swipe series, which we made available for free for you guys. So you can easily download this, edit it, make it fit your business and have it set up. All right, I'll show you maybe towards the end of the call where you can look at this. Okay, now there are a couple of aspects to an effective autoresponder and why they are important, and we're going to talk about them one by one. Now, the first is it helps you leverage your time. So if you're getting, let's say, 100 or 200 or 1,000 leads monthly, depending on what your team size is, it's going to be really difficult to follow up with every one of those leads in person, especially when you saw the stats that say if you follow up 5 minutes, you're 9 times more likely to convert them. So what this autoresponder helps you do is it helps you leverage your time so that you can get an email out automatically right as the lead comes in. The next is it helps you build a relationship with your leads. So as they take your quiz, they come into your list, even if they don't buy right away. With this autoresponder setup, you're going to be able to continue giving your leads value, and this builds trust. So when you make some kind of offer in the future or some kind of recommendation, they are more likely going to go with you because they already know you through the emails they've read from you in the past, or through the educative, should I say, documents you've sent to them in the past. They're gonna know you, they're gonna like you, they're gonna trust you, and that way they're gonna be more likely to go with you when you make these recommendations or when you make this offer. So an autoresponder helps you build that relationship with your leads. Now it also helps you create engagement, with your leads. Like I said earlier, if you don't buy immediately, you can still use this responder emails to create those engagements. So it's super important. Finally, it helps you optimize the result. You can see like, what is the open rate? What is the click-through rate? How much sales am I getting from a specific email campaign? And as you have people go through that, you can see what is working and how you can improve it. Versus if you do it manually, sending out emails to people, it's difficult to track the results to see what is working and how to improve it. So with the autoresponder email, you can check all those stats and see, okay, this email is performing better than this one, and you can promote and make different changes to optimize your results. So very important. Next, we're going to look at components of an effective email autoresponder. Like Donna Barry mentioned, the first is set expectation for future communication. So when someone opts into your quiz, you want to take them from the opt-in and getting the results to staying on your list and staying with you. So it's very important for you to set that expectation around what you're going to be helping them with, or what kind of content they should be expecting, and so on. So try to set that expectation earlier, and you can do this with your email autoresponders. The first email, you set the expectation. The next one is get them to engage with you. So this is where you ask your lead to reply back to your email. So something like, share with me your story now that I have shared mine, or reply back if this is meaningful to you, or reply back if with what you care about the most, for example. So things that will get them to engage with you, you can have those incorporated in your email autoresponder, and that way you start this engagement with your leads, you start to engage them. The next is educate them, very important. Now, a lot of businesses nowadays, they mostly compete on price. So if you're able to educate your leads in such a way that you build that trust based on the contents you're sending them with the autoresponder emails, they're more likely going to be, willing to work with you without even having to offer them a discount or reduce your price, or situations like that. So when you educate them, they're going to trust you. They're going to know that, okay, this person is a star in his field. This person knows what they're talking about. And that way, they're more likely going to be able to go with you. So make sure your autoresponder emails are educative. And finally, get them to take action and make their first purchase. Ultimately, you need to help them to make more purchase. Now, what we found is, if you're getting people to buy right off your quiz in the first place, then with an email autoresponder, you should be able to increase that sales by 10 to 15%. LeadQuizzes, we've made thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, getting people to sign up through our autoresponder campaigns and so on. All right, so try to get them to make the first purchase through the autoresponder. Now I'm going to show you a diagram of how an autoresponder should look like. This is just an example, all right? Now at the beginning, in the green, you can see the opt-in, which is the quiz, when they fill in the form. And then they're going to have the connection through the integration. So the opt-in, they have the connection through the integration. That's going to send them the first email. All right, now this welcome email can be where you give them their results. You can also set expectation towards the other emails they're going to be receiving in the future. The second email can be, which is this one. This second email can be, let's say, your story. Why are you doing this? Give them some kind of gift, maybe, a worksheet or a video, something that's going to be helpful to them to move along. All right. And again, you're able to drip one more content to them. And finally, you now pitch back the product you had in the first place. All right, now you can do this continuously. So you drip out 3 emails. The 4th email, is pitching the products you had in front of them initially. So this can be a year-long sequence. You know, 1 email a week. The 4th week is a pitch of the product that you're trying to sell to them. It continues, 3 more emails in the month. The 4th week of the month, you get back to pitching them the product you're trying to sell to them. You know, so this is a typical example of what your autoresponder should look like. All right. Any questions? Any comments? All right. I guess I would like, so James, if you don't mind sharing with us, I know you have some autoresponder set up. So maybe you can tell us what you did and how effective it has been. Likewise, Tim and Amy.
Well, what I do is when I do the opt-in, I always mention that, as I said to you when we had our call, I would say, well, to get your score of the quiz and the answers emailed to you, put a valid email address in, because there is a risk that someone might put a spam email address in or a fake email. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to be doing that. So you might need to make sure that on the quiz opt-in, you say put in a valid email to get the answers sent to you. So they're going to check regularly. I do know some people who set up what they call it, fake emails addresses for quizzes or opt-ins or things such as that. So you don't want to get them to do that. And then obviously, what we then do is using Zapier to get them onto FitPro newsletter. To be honest, I haven't pushed LeadQuizzes as much as I should have done. And this is why I took this course, because to actually kickstart that. Normally what happens is at this time, I actually have a personal training client, but he's cancelled today. So that's why I'm actually on this webinar. But this is what I'm planning to do. And I'm planning to be the next Neil Patel of fitness. Because the thing is, as I said to Elvis on the call, I've lost count of the number of downloads or PDFs I've actually got on Facebook and the like. Whereas a quiz, it takes about a minute or two. You get your response pretty quickly, and you're interested in getting the results. So if you do a quiz of, let's say, 8 to 10 questions, you can just say, to get the answers, to get your quiz, put your name and email address in. And then people want to do that because they want to get the answers, especially if you've got some students. So that's basically what I've done in the past, but I'm going to push this a lot more. As I said to you, Elvis, I do want to become the next Neil Patel of LeadQuizzes. Thank you very much, James, for your contribution. By the way, just checking the thing, we've got James Bond on the call. We've got Elvis, who's got the same surname as Elvis Presley. I see we've got Tim Turner. I'm sure, Tim, you've actually heard all the jokes with that Tina Turner. So we've got some famous people on this call.
Yeah. And also Ted Turner, my Uncle Ted.
Okay. Yes, of course. Yes, we have some very famous names on this call.
Same quick question for your clients, which you're running quizzes for right now. Do you have some sort of email autoresponder?
Yes. What actually happens is once they've done a quiz, they're given an autoresponder that's basically saying, who I am, this is what I do, this is the answers to the quiz that you've got, and basically just say, and this is the program that I do, and I just say, mention the first email that we're doing a special offer, valid for 24 hours from this date of this email. So basically, take advantage, because if you click this link after 24 hours, it's going to cost you a little bit more. And this, as you put, I think it's in your second webinar, that you need to put some kind of scarcity in it, otherwise people won't take action. There has to be some scarcity or deadline. You just say, well, this offer's open for life. No, they're not going to do it. You're going to need to say this: if you opt in now and take this offer now, you will get it at this price for life. Otherwise, you opt in later, then it's going to be more expensive for you. So you need to put in some kind of deadline and some kind of scarcity. And that's something you taught me in our first call, Elvis.
Yes, definitely. We spoke about that in our previous calls, that having that sense of urgency and scarcity for your offer is needed. You just don't want to leave the offer running. You can have something like, okay, offer lasts 24 hours, offer ends in 3 hours, something like that, to create that urgency so they take action right away. Right.
Well, it's like for this course, it was $149. But if you waited too long, it was $215.
Yes,
And that if that's not going to motivate you to sign up, I don't know what will.
definitely, definitely. All right. I guess next question is Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what I was asking is, for those clients that you're currently running LeadQuizzes for, do you have some sort of autoresponder emails that go out, when someone takes their quizzes?
Yeah, I had set all that up, and for most of the clients, it was in the financial industry space, and we were trying to get the people to book an appointment to talk about their retirement, and the follow-up emails just kind of continued with, trying to get them to book an appointment and link to Calendly. Didn't work very well. Didn't really get people booking appointments. I don't think enough value was built in order to get, trust. And also that's a very kind of special area that people are very distrustful of financial people in general, much less they just met somebody on the internet, so to speak.
So like I mentioned, this second email you have in here. So let's say the first email is the welcome email, where you give them the results, for example, and you set the expectations. The second email should be a kind of email that's, that helps them move along.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of make sure that you provide value, or you teach them something in this email. You just don't want to, after the first email, then the second email, you also ask them to, buy your products. Then the third email, you do the same. No, you want to give them some value. Then on the fourth email, you pitch back what you're trying to sell. So try to give them some value with your autoresponder emails before you get back to the page of what you're trying to sell. It can be a video, it can be a PDF, it can be a blog post, you name it, but something that's when they read it, it gives them value and it helps them move along.
Tim, what country are you in? Are you in the USA?
Yes.
I know financial advisors who, this is an offer which they do, and it works really, really well. They do it on their autoresponder. What actually happens is they say, have you got life insurance? If you have, great. If not, well, we can help you out. But here's the big one. And I don't know the situation in the USA, but here's the situation in the UK. If you get life insurance when you're 18, what actually happens is while you're young and healthy, the premium is dirt cheap. And if you wait until you're 40 or 50, you pay through your nose. Now, the thing here is I pay £5 a month for my life insurance. And there are some people who pay more per month than I pay per year. However, now this is where you get them. You say to your client, the person who opted in, if you have any children who are under the age of 18, get them to join your life insurance policy through us. And what then happens is when they turn 18, they can set up their own policy. You've got the kid, you've got the parents, and they're going to stay with you for life. And my personal training client who does this says he makes a fortune by doing this because he's got parents who's signing up their 5-year-olds to get life insurance because they pay something like £1 a month. And then when they turn 18, they remain on that £2 a month for the rest of their lives, where some people are paying £200 a month when they get life insurance at the age of 55. Hope that helps.
Thank you. One question: when you do a 24-hour, special offer, how many emails do you send in the 24 hours? Because that's sort of different than the effective autoresponder. You've got the Frank Kern approach, where he puts people into a scarcity offer and hits you like 8 times in 24 hours with a countdown timer, deadline funnel.
Well, if you don't get any complaints with the amount of emails you're sending, you're not sending enough.
Tim,
Yeah.
I actually have a life insurance company outside of LeadQuizzes, and so we actually are running a funnel right now. This is our new funnel that we're using LeadQuizzes to run. And what we do is we actually sell whole life insurance, and compared to like term life insurance, it's a lot more expensive. And so what we do actually is, for us, we have our quiz. And once someone takes our quiz, we're capturing all of that data, because we know like we're selling the average size of like a policy, a premium that someone will pay with us is like $10,000 a year. So we're actually taking them through a quiz, and from the quiz, instead of having them, sign up for like a consultation call or for like to set up a any sort of call, we actually drive them. We actually tell them, hey, we put together a master class as to how you can build your own life insurance policy, and we have them up. And we drive them to the master class, which is a 45-minute webinar video where we offer a ton of value. This is how you can use life insurance in your life and how you can build the perfect life insurance policy for your family. And from there, we drive them to our application process. And right now we are converting about 75% of people who finish our webinar, and that reduces the time to conversion, because we're not dripping out emails, like educational emails throughout, like, let's say for like 2 weeks. We're providing all of the value up front through our 45-minute webinar. That's pretty intensive.
I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it
Donaberry?
Donaberry. Which part of the world are you in?
US.
Well, I mean, does the same apply as in the UK, that the younger you are when you take up the life insurance, the cheaper the premium? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, yep.
So what you do, you can do exactly the same thing. I mean, you can just say, have you got any kids who are over 18? Get 18. Get them when now, because as I said, I pay £5 a month, and I've got friends who pays about £200 a month, and they pay more per month than I pay in a year. Whereas one of my friends, what he does is, he gets his clients, he says to them, do you have any children? And the answer is usually yes. I said, well, why don't you take a policy with us? But while you're at it, add your children onto your policy. And therefore, when they turn 18, you get them their own policy with the same company. So one, he gets the parents, and two, he knows he's got a stream of leads coming in 18 years or whenever, basically ready and waiting to take off it. And he makes an absolute fortune.
Yeah. No, those are definitely good strategies for just building up, basically increasing the lifetime value of your the customer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was your
Elvis? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What was your conversion rate on the people who watch the webinar?
We're converting around 75%. That actually they'll book a call after, like, go through our basically our application process is a little bit more extensive. And because we got to check like health records and all that other stuff. But we'll get 75% of people to fill out basically their whole entire life insurance policy after the webinar. And the only reason most of the time they don't convert is either, they lied on the application about not doing drugs and all those other things, or they have like health issues that we just can't really get around, and the insurance company won't cover them.
Sure.
And how are you driving leads to that quiz?
So to that quiz, we're running, we have a couple of funnels that we're using. So we have a YouTube channel. So for us, Elvis, can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah. So we have a pretty big YouTube channel. And here, let me see if I can share. Just give me a second, guys.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can do.
Yeah, so we have our quiz all over our YouTube channel. So we have it in the banner right here. Quiz, what's your wealth profile type? Because what we teach with our life insurance is actually how to use it as a way to like build your own bank. Like if you've ever heard of like the infinite banking concept. Yeah. So that's what we're teaching on YouTube as a way to sell life insurance. So we have it here on our banner, and all of our videos we have a CTA as well. Quiz, what's your wealth profile? And if you click it, it'll take you to our quiz. And from there, it'll drive you to our master class.
Yeah, I love it.
And from there, it'll drive you to our application process. But also, what we're also testing and we're seeing some good results from is we're actually selling an educational product in the middle, because we're selling $10,000 premiums a year, so it's a lot higher price point, and we wanted to convert. We want to be able to convert we want to make an ROI right away, so we can invest it back into, like, let's say, Facebook advertising for our quiz. So what we're doing is we're selling a membership product at $129, and we're still in the early phases. We're getting around like 5 to 6 conversions a day off of quiz takers to our membership product. Yeah. But we're still driving to the webinar, but just instead of offering become a client, we're saying join our membership.
Donovan, again, how do I pronounce it?
Yeah.
Is there any way that you could incorporate the strategy I just said? Get people when they're 18, because as I said, literally the day after I turned 18, my dad took me to see an insurance broker. And he explained this to me. He just looked, you're 18, you're fit and healthy. He just said, if we take out life insurance for you now, the premium is dirt cheap, and it will remain that for the rest of your life. And he just said, if anything ever happens to you, then the insurance company is stuck with you for life. And he went on to say that most people who are, when they turn 40 or above, they're paying, through their nose. And so is there any way that you could set up a quiz? I'm just trying to get you some extra trade here. I'm just thinking, could you do a quiz where you put this to them saying, look, have you got any kids under 18? You need to get them on life insurance, ASAP. Or if you've got any kids under the age of 18, get them on a policy. They'll have to do a joint policy between the parents and the kid. But one, you've got a sale there, but then you've got a guaranteed sale when that person turns 18 to get them their own policy. Could you do that?
Yeah. So what we found with our quiz is that, and why we introduced like the membership, is because we found that a lot of people that watch our YouTube channel are not good fits for the type of policy that we that we have, because $10,000 a year for a lot of people for life essentially is a lot to invest in life insurance. And that's just the start, especially if what we're teaching. And so we found out that a lot of our audience won't qualify. But we wanted to monetize that traffic still. So we decided we're going to offer a membership product as the first conversion point instead. And we're going to be a little bit more selective as to who we allow to be qualified for the $10,000 premium a year. So we're going through all of those events, but I really like your ideas to if they do qualify, add them, add family members, because it's always cheaper for younger, healthier people to be added to a policy. So it's definitely something that I'm going to be trying to test actually after this.
Well, have you got my email address? What I'll do is I'll get Nick's promo email. You're not competing because he's in the UK. And what I'll do is I'll just forward it on to you.
Yeah, I have your email address.
Yeah, send me one and I'll get it out to you in a day or two. Because the simple reason being, you might end up with a whole load more trade for very little effort.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry to take up all you guys' time though, but I'm let everyone else go.
Thank you, Dee, for your input. I guess the final thing I want to just show is, so remember I said initially that we do have Jeremy created autoresponder email swipe series. And also if you go to the LeadQuizzes Academy, all right, if you go under library, I'm just going to take this one step back. So under library, in here, you're going to see welcome and nurture autoresponder series. Now, once you click in there, you can download this.
Oh,
And these are all, autoresponder emails that Jeremy wrote that you can take, modify, and use for your business. All right.
Okay.
I guess finally, we didn't let Amy to, share with us. So Amy, before we head off, is there something you want to contribute or some question you want to ask since today is the last day of this workshop? Yeah.
I'm in good shape. Thank you. This will be handy though, the email.
All right. All right then. Well, in
Thank
that
you.
case, Tim, you look like you want to say something. Tim.
Yeah, I have two questions whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so go on.
One is on the A/B split testing. Was there a way to do that within LeadQuizzes, or do you use one of the external A/B split testing tools that just sends half the traffic one way or the other?
So in LeadQuizzes at the moment, just 1 second, I'll show you. Let's pull this up. All right, so in LeadQuizzes at the moment, how you can do this is if you go to your quiz, in here we have the copy functionality, which is this one. Now, once you click on that and you click copy, it's going to duplicate your quiz.
Right.
All right. Now, on the duplicate, you can make those changes that you want to make, publish it, and then you drive traffic to this duplicate for a period of time. So let's say you had the control for a week. You can change out the embed code if you had it on your website to that of the test, and then you run it for a week, and then you can use the A/B tests statistical, significance to determine how significant it was or not.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're manually doing it. There's some
Manually,
systems
yeah,
that'll
yeah.
just put in two URLs
Yes, I
and
know.
give you a URL and it'll split it between the two.
I know. So it's something we're going to work on, in the nearest future. We have that on our backlog to have that developed. So for now, you can go through this route at the moment.
Okay, my next question is on the results. I know how to put the contacts into, Active Campaign, Keep, Infusion, all that stuff.
Okay.
But you were saying you can email them the results. Are you putting that into the CRM system and then you're emailing it or is there some way to do that directly from LeadQuizzes?
No, so you have to create those email results in your CRM, right? Then in LeadQuizzes, let's say you're making use of Active Campaign, for example.
Yeah.
You can go in and you can apply tags to the different results from LeadQuizzes.
Yeah.
All right. Then once you've done that on your Active Campaign side, you can trigger those different emails to go out based on the tags that are being applied.
Okay.
I don't know if I have an integration here at the moment.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, so for example, this is MailChimp, but for Active Campaign, you're going to have the tags section. You just simply apply tags to the 3 different results, or depending on how many results you have in there. And whenever a lead fills in the form on your Active Campaign side, you're going to see that lead information as well as the tag that was applied, and that way you can trigger the automation automatically. Okay. Any other questions, Tim?
You've been working with life insurance, and I'm fully aware of all that. I sell retirement planning software. Have you worked with any financial advisors that do assets under management or that do annuities, not life insurance?
Was that
is this to me?
Yeah, I didn't really get a question. What was the question, Tim?
You mentioned you're doing this YouTube channel for life insurance, which is like whole life policies, which I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not an advisor. I actually sell software to advisors and agents for retirement planning. So I'm just wondering if you've worked with any agents or advisors on annuities or on assets under management, like somebody manages money and you're getting them, trying to get them clients.
No, I haven't worked with those type of clients before, but like if I were to work with those type of clients, the process would, you know, would be similar, kind of similar to what we are doing with whole life anyways. And basically that space requires a lot of education. Clients want a lot more education. And so for us, you know, like I would build out my quiz around the like questions that people have about like investing, you know, and like, is your portfolio giving you the best return, you know, and go through in that quiz. And then I would still even have a master class as to like the process that, let's say, you know, your clients are using to get better returns for the market, you know, and provide that education before I have people schedule a consultation. Because, you know, we've all been there on a website where you get to the page and they're like, schedule a consultation, and you're like, I don't know, they're just gonna pitch me on the call, and I don't really know what I'm getting into. So that's why I always like to go through like providing education, then present like the CTA of schedule a consultation. That way they've got enough value through like either a mini course or some sort of lead magnet that provides education before getting them on a call. Because I always find, even with like I always find when we've tested CTAs for consultations, it's been very difficult to convert unless it's a very hyper engaged like audience.
Okay, yeah, that's useful. And you said the webinar is 45 minutes?
Yeah, we have a 45-minute webinar.
And it's recorded, or you do it live on a periodic basis?
So it's just recorded. We've tested like an on-demand webinar, but it's just, honestly, I don't like on-demand webinars because it's just kind of like shady, like interaction. It's like, oh yeah, it's live, but it's not really live, and everyone's figured it out now. So it's like, all right, well, just like take them to the video page, allow them to watch it on their own time, and we get pretty good results that way. And we just try to, with our funnel, we try to be just as ethical as possible, especially anything around finance, and not be deceiving.
Do you track who watches? Do you track percent of video that someone's watched?
Yeah, so we track the percentage of, it's going to require some like tweaking around with like Google Analytics and Tag Manager, but we track the percentage of videos watched. But things that we also do is we have launched and I've done this in the past, we've launched retargeting campaigns based on, because we're basically using a quiz to qualify people, and we run retargeting campaigns based off the results that they get. Because for us, if we spend you know, $500 to acquire one client, it's totally worth it for us, you know, because our policies are like, our premiums are starting at $10,000.
Yeah. Yep. So when you do the retargeting campaigns, one of your quiz questions is about, you know, are you willing to spend $10,000 a year to change your life? And when they say no, then you're sending those people the $129 membership offer?
We don't say it like that. We use a couple of criteria. Like, for example, if they're like, we asked about like salary, for example, like what's your annual income? If it's under 50K, we've just been in business long enough, we know that spending $10,000 a year on life insurance policy is not a good investment.
No, they can't.
You know, they can't afford it. And then we also ask questions about how much in assets do you have currently? Are you currently investing? Things that align with our ideal customer. We ask those questions, and then we put those users in a bucket and we retarget them for the ones that complete.
Right. So you use that for your demographic targeting, so to speak, and then only spend money on the retargeting for the ones you think are most likely to become clients, right?
Yeah.
Do you send everyone the $129 offer, and is that only done by email? And or is that, let's say you do an autoresponder, you're sending that on email such and such, email 5 or whatever, but you're still trying to get them to do the $10,000?
So after, we usually only pitch one offer at a time to people, just so they don't get confused. Because most of the time, if you pitch 2 offers and the other one is the cheapest, they'll go with, they'll usually be like, oh, let me start with the cheapest. So for us, if we think you're not a good customer, we'll just pitch you the $125 membership. But at some point in with our list, we promote every quarter and we pitch a coaching program as well. So we have $1,000 a year coaching program that we pitch on top of. So let's say, for example, you take our $129 offer. We know you're not a good fit for a $10,000 a month whole life insurance a year policy, but you'll be a good fit for our coaching program, where we get you to the point where you can buy that type of policy from us. So we have other offers that we make after the $129.
Okay. Well, if you would ever like to pitch a retirement planning program, we have a consumer one. I do sell it to advisors and stuff, but we do sell it to consumers, and it's a subscription. And usually people that get it love it and stick with it. So I don't know if it's not really for people that make $50,000 a year, though. It's for higher income people that want to do it themselves and track in great detail whether they're saving enough for retirement.
Just one question I'm going to ask before we go. Elvis, is there any possibility that you can put something in the back office where you can put a tab for all the recordings of the webinars? Because otherwise you're searching around quite a bit to actually find the recordings.
So you mean create a new channel? I don't know. Well, we'll have to discuss that. But yeah.
No. Just put something in one page in the back office in the community side. There's one page. We've got the links to all 4 recordings.
Okay.
Elvis, I created a course in there. Just put it all in a course.
All right.
In one.
Will do.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, James, we'll take care of that.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, then. I guess any other questions, team?
No.
No.
Be in touch, Elvis.
All right. I guess that will be the end of it. I'll send a recap and the video recording, obviously, after the call to the community channel. And likewise, you can find the email swipe series, team, like I showed you. Yeah. All right.
Great. Speak to you soon.
Have a great day, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
Thanks.